Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Brookline Youth Baseball on Brookline Access Television. Today's game will feature the long-awaited All-Star game between the American League All-Stars and the National League All-Stars. This figures to be quite a matchup, and we'll be back in a moment with the player introductions.
Can you believe this thing?
I knew I shouldn't have let him drive.
Yeah, you said ride with us. You've been drinking.
Said he was okay.
I owe you guys. I mean it. If you hadn't stopped me, I'd been with him.
Come on.
Nobody has to drink and drive, and nobody should. Friends keep friends alive.
Okay, we're back here and we're ready for Stan Payne to read the National League starting lineup. Stan Payne at center field.
From the Braves, Sean Burrows.
Here we see Sean Burrows, 13, what is he, 13-0, 8-0 pitcher. Seth
My name's
Burrows.
Seth Burrows. I'm on the Braves, and I'm a pitcher.
Elise Fenton.
Elise Fenton, and I play second.
Okay.
From the Braves, Matthew Tilden.
Sean Guilfoyle catching.
From the Braves, Brendan Ward. From the Braves, Daniel Weinstein, not here.
Hi, my name is Brendan Ward. I play left field, and I'm on the Braves.
We just heard Daniel Weinstein not here today, a Braves player, first base.
From the Pirates, Carlton Ashley.
Jerry Guthrie playing third base, Braves.
From the Pirates, Justin Brody.
I'm Carlton Ashley. I'm on the
From
Pirates, and I
Pirates,
like to play
Glenn
second base.
Lemishev.
Hi, I'm Justin Brody. I'm
From the
playing right
Pirates,
field.
Brooke Lloyd.
My name's Glenn Lemishev. I play first base for the
Joe
Pirates.
Jackson.
I'm Brooke Lloyd from the
From the
Pirates.
Dodgers, Austin Diamond.
Joe Jackson,
From the
shortstop
Dodgers,
from the
Alex
Pirates.
Williams. From the
Hi, my name is
Dodgers,
Ace
Matthew
Diamond. I play shortstop, and I'm on the Dodgers.
From the Dodgers,
I'm
Hank
Alex
Williams.
Hirsch-Williams. I'll be playing second base, and I'm on the Dodgers.
And from the Dodgers,
I'm
Brett
Matt Quinn.
Brown.
I'm starting, and I'm playing first base. Hi, my name
From the
is Howard
Mets,
Sherman. I'm
Adam
the catcher.
Freeberg.
Brett
Brown,
Brown,
pitcher
pitcher,
and
and Dodgers.
From the Mets,
Adam
Neil
Freeberg,
Murphy, not
first
here.
base. Mets.
From the Mets, Jeffrey Wolf.
Sean Mahoney, first, Met, second base.
Dodgers, Barbara Ward from the Braves.
Jeff Wolf from the Mets. I'm starting at third.
Joe Campagna from the Pirates and Stan Payne from the Mets.
Hi, Barbara Ward, Braves coach.
Barbara Ward, the undefeated Braves coach, 17-0. And you see Stan Payne, the Mets coach, in last place, Merrill Diamond, sitting over there, the third place Dodgers coach, and Joe Campagna just arriving at the ballpark today. He's the second place Pirates coach, and Tom Madigan just about to give the American League lineups.
And last but not least, from the National League, Ryan Guilfoyle, Bat Boy.
And Ryan Guilfoyle, Bat Boy, Sean's brother.
I'm gonna be the bat boy for tonight, and my name is Ryan.
Ryan Guilfoyle, and there you have it. We're ready for the American League starting lineups from Tom Madigan. Tom?
The 1993 American League All-Stars from the Tigers, Ole Anderson.
Hi, my name is Ole Anderson. I'm 12 years old, and I represent the Tigers.
I'm Hudson Doyle.
From the Tigers,
I'm 11 years old, and I play for the Tigers. Hi, I'm Ari Irvings. I'm 12 years old, and I'm representing the Tigers.
So here are the last of the Tigers.
Hi, my name is Josh Madigan. I'm 11 years old, and I play for the Tigers. Hi, my name is Daniel Siddart. I'm 12 years old, and I'm representing the Tigers. Hi, my name is Derek Bodo. I'm 12, and I'm playing for the Orioles.
And the Orioles now coming out.
My name is Justin Freiberg. I'm 11 years old, and I'm on the Orioles. Hi, my name is Max Screever. I'm 11 years old, and I play for the Orioles.
Matt Larson.
Hi, I'm William Larson. I'm 12 years old and I'm on the Orioles.
Hi, my name is Stephen George. I'm 11 years old, and I play for the Orioles. My name is Eddie Chin. I'm 12 years old, and I play for the Indians.
John Kelly.
My name is Matt Cronin. I'm 12 years old, and I'm on the Indians.
From the Red Sox,
Hi, my name is John Kelly. I'm 11 years old, and I'm representing the Indians. Hi, I'm Kieran Lally. I'm 12 years old, and I'm on the Red Sox. Hi, my name is Ethan Schechter. I'm 12 years old, and I play for the Red Sox.
Hi, I'm Josh Swag. I'm 11 years old and I'm representing the Red Sox.
And here he comes, the man Pop Shostak and Arlen Shostak, the coaches of the first place Braves.
The Orioles, Nate Pop Shostak, co-coach with Allen.
Over there, Pops. Hi, Arlen Shostak, coach of the Orioles.
Buddy Dublin from the coach of the Red Sox.
Hi, Rico Rodriguez, assistant coach of the Red Sox.
So there you have it, the American League All-Stars. They all deserved it. We're ready for the first pitch after this. Well, and Tom Madigan, everybody seems to have wanted to remember, the coach of the Tigers.
He loved to be out here in the open, climbing the hills, roaming the fields. The outdoors was his life. He loved the freedom of it all. But the freedom's gone. One mistake changed everything. He was a drinking driver. Drinking and driving can be the mistake of your life.
We're back as the American League takes the field. Danny Kelly, over to you.
We're getting ready where the American League is the home team, despite the fact that we're playing in Elliott Field, the home field of the National League teams. Starting on the mound for the American League today is Eddie Chin of the Indians. And he's got a tough National League order to face up ahead of him.
Eddie Chin, we've seen pitch once this year before. Quickly, today's two umpires calling the balls and strikes will be Joseph Nakunta behind home plate and Steve Eddy, a veteran baseball umpire, calling the plays on the bases.
Taking a look around the infield for the American League here. If we can, we have Derek Verda from the Orioles over at first base. Max Freevert also at second base, also from the Orioles. At shortstop, we have Stephen George of the Orioles. And at third base, we have Irvings from the Tigers, Ari Irvings. In left field, from the Red Sox, we have Josh Zwig. In center field from the Tigers is Daniel Sinrod. And in right field from the Tigers as well is Hudson Doyle.
So that's a packed defensive lineup that Coach Arlen Shostak and Pop Shostak have for the American League lineup. And talk about packed punches. You've got the powerful bats of the vaunted National League coming up to bat, don't we, Danny? And the way that's going to look, why don't you read the first few of that lineup?
Well, leading things off, and then will be Matthew Quinn from the Dodgers, is followed by Elise Fenton, Austin Diamond, and Sean Guilfoyle. That's going to be the top four due up here in the first inning. And it seems, talking to the kids, that the National League may be the favorites coming into this one. But in All-Star games, obviously all the players are the best players in the league, best players on their teams. And there's obviously going to be stiff competition. I don't think American League's ready to roll over and die quite yet. And they don't even have Danny Hurwitz, who's been hurt all season from the Orioles.
So as Pop Shostak talks to the pitcher out at Eddie Chin out at the mound, the umpire gets ready for the first pitch as Matt Quinn from the Dodgers steps up to bat. The last throw's being tossed around, and
I think the man I forgot to mention when we were going around the field was Justin Freeberg of the Orioles is catching this ball game. And I am Justin's coach, and I hope he's not mad at me for that one. Justin is possibly one of the finest catchers in the league, in my opinion.
That's why he's here today, Dan. And it's a thankless job catching, but so far he's let the first pitch right into his glove.
Quinn takes a strike there and fouls that one back, and quickly Eddie Chin got 2 strikes on the leadoff batter, Matthew Quinn.
Dan, it's loud as the cheers and bustling of the crowd is lively, but this is a 9-inning game, and surely we'll be the only voices talking besides the coaches in about an hour. And that gets nailed off Joseph Nakunta's face mask, and he's calling 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I don't know if it was noticed, but I think he missed the pregame announcements, but Joe Campagna, the Pirates coach, has arrived and is down at third base coaching. Would like to acknowledge the fact that he's also here helping out tonight. The 1-2 pitch to Matty Quinn fouls another one back, and Matthew is hanging tough up there.
At first base, Coach Merrill Diamond giving the signs for his Dodgers, and Joe Campagna giving these signs. It's got to be tough for these coaches and players having signs.
Quinn hits one, Sinrod coming in on it. It hits off Sinrod's glove in center field, and it drops in there, and we have our first base runner of the ball game.
A nice try,
Matthew Quinn.
Nice try for a basket catch by Daniel Sinrod, the Tigers center fielder. He did his best to come in, but it was tough. He had too much momentum probably, and that one just slipped by him. A tough play, but here she is, the fine stallion, Elise Fenton, popping it up to the box, and Eddie Chin
hauls that one in, and quickly on 1 pitch, he battles back to get the second better of the inning, Elise Fenton. And that's going to bring up the coach's son from the Dodgers, Austin Diamond.
Austin will be playing center field, and we'll be able to know when there's a strike, as Joseph Nakunti will be belting it out. I think they might know over in South Brookline what the call is. Outside, he said.
1-1. Even on your side of town, Kyle?
No, they have sound protected walls where I live, Dan. But
and there the pitch gets by him, and that's behind the backstop. Quinn automatically will take second base.
So already Chin is finding himself with a runner in scoring position in the National League, as they do so often, finds themselves ready to threaten. I think that there's been only one American League team this year to beat a National League team. Am I right that the Orioles beat the Mets?
I think that would be the team I coach beating the team your father coaches.
It was an off night, Dan. It was an off night. Actually, didn't you guys win 7 in a row, or 6 out of 8 or something?
We've won 6 in a row and 7 of our last 8. So we pulled to 8-8 and first place in the American League.
That's quite remarkable. You guys started off not too great. Oh, they might have got
1-7 was the original record. As Quinn dances off second base.
The catcher here,
Justin
almost found Quinn in a pickle, but he found his way back to the base and back to the box.
Chin knocks it down nicely. Max Freever tries to make a play on it. A little bit late. Chin knocked it down. That slowed it down too much for Freever to really get a good play on it. Nothing Max could do on that one. Made a throw to first base, and Derek Verda made a great scoop at first just to not allow it to get by him.
And the Red Sox...
and a lot of encouragement from this American League bench, and you got to love that. This team camaraderie they have already. And there you see Justin going out to the mound. I think what he's telling them is try not to pitch anything in the ballpark, or Sean could take somebody's head off.
I know Eddie Chin must be a little afraid as he gets some consolation from Justin as catcher, as Sean Guilfoyle banged 4 home runs out of here in the recent home run derby. And
I was a little afraid on the mound. I pitched batting practice to Sean about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I didn't really look forward to taking a line drive back at me.
Joe
calls that one outside.
The pitcher of the home run derby, yeah.
Hey, if Jolton Joe Simeone can take the risk, then why couldn't I?
Well, anyway, I'm sure that...
Oh, Guilfoyle
1-1.
Kind of has that Jose Canseco atmosphere up there. Even when he misses, at least it's exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
The 1-1 count. Chin with the pitch. Taken high. Now Diamond goes down to second base.
So we've got 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out here in the top of the first inning. I know that pitcher Eddie Chin would like to do his share in this first inning of helping the American League get one up here on the National League, as the National League just creamed the American League in the home run derby.
The count is 3-1 to Sean Guilfoyle with Jeffrey Wolf of the Mets on deck. And Guilfoyle will take ball 4, and I think that's what we're looking for, is don't pitch him anything good.
Well, I guess that's
it's almost a shame to see. I know Guilfoyle is never happy walking.
Would you be if you were him? Did you see how far he was hitting those balls?
Kind of reminded me of myself in a way.
Yeah, me too.
That's going to bring up Jeffrey Wolf with the bases loaded here in the first inning.
So Jeff wearing the Braves batting helmet. This is a real team thing. I like the way this is working. Everybody's sitting over there like one big happy family, cheering their players on offense and on defense. And the bases are plugged, and Eddie Chin covers home with a pitch that got away from our catcher, Justin.
Well, there are about 4 games left in the regular season for most teams, 3 or 4, and then the playoffs come. And I have a feeling these guys won't be quite as cheerful for each other on other teams once the playoffs roll around.
Dan, maybe you can help me out with the American League. I know the Braves are 17-0, the Pirates 13-4.
And wait, there's Wolf with a hit to right field. I'm not sure what's going on there in right field, as Hudson threw it into Max Freevert at second base, but that allowed Diamond to score as well.
Yeah, a little hullabaloo in right field where Hudson seemed to be confused about where he was throwing the ball, and one little second like that allows 2 runs in, and Sean Guilfoyle stands atop second base, and Jeff Wolf, a 2 RBI man today.
Nice piece of hitting there by Jeffrey Wolf.
Yeah.
Hudson Doyle, in all due fairness to him, a lot of these players are first basemen or shortstops on their teams during the regular season. Then they come to the All-Star game and they have to play the outfield, and it's awful tough for them if they've never played it before. And I remember when I played Little League, they used to have a Brookline versus Newton Little League game where the American and National League combined to play the Newton Little League All-Stars when I was 11 years old. And 18 kids were on it, so we all had to play 3 innings, and I had to play left field for 3 innings, and I was more terrorized playing left field than I ever was in the infield.
Dan, I don't know if you noticed, this is the second year that the back of the jerseys worn by the players have been sponsored by certain companies, and you can look back on the Red Sox jersey and see Hunneman and Company, the bankers, and here we have on the back of the program a list of everybody. Hopefully we can get some of these people mentioned today, just sort of epitomizing what this whole game is about. It's not about coaches yelling and kids getting into fights. It's about community spirit and volunteer, and that's what we're seeing today.
Guilfoyle's going to try to score, and he beats the throw from Freiberg.
Tie goes to the runner. Pitcher Eddie Chin tagged Guilfoyle as he crossed the plate, and plagued all season. The Indians, who are rotting, I think, in the last place of the American League, have been upset with this kind of problem all year. So Eddie Chin hoping to get these early game jitters out now. It's a 9-inning game, and anything can happen as Seth Burrows, the ace pitcher for the Braves, gets nailed in the leg and hops down to first base. I hope he's okay.
Well, he gave Merrill Diamond a high five, so I think he's just happy to be on base.
He's a good kid. Remember, we got to interview him the last game, and he was a lot of fun to watch during the game, and not a cocky kid at all. There are some kids out there who really think a lot of themselves. But Seth Burrows, really one of the quality kids you like to see out there on the field. Back to the box, and
Eddie throws it over to first base to Derek Verda. A lot of people were yelling home, but they got the out, and that's That's important in itself. On the play, Joe Jackson grounded out, but he did his job and got the out. There are now 2 outs, and that's gonna bring up Justin Brody, who's gonna start the game in right field for the National League.
Brody takes a big cut. 0-1 on Justin Brody, and Eddie Chin just making a nice defensive play to retire the batter or the base runner. As we see Seth Burrows, the only base runner right now for the National League.
The National League has 4 runs in here, and early in the first inning, it's a 4-0 lead.
Already, Coach Arlen Shostak has been out to the mound to converse with his pitcher today.
And that one's going to get through. Sinrod makes a nice play on it and quickly gets it back into the infield.
Dan, I think we should make these innings 2 outs an inning.
Well, if we're going to be here for 9, might need to start bringing stickball rules into effect where you can catch it on 1 bounce.
That's right. Sooner or later, we may be able to get out there ourselves.
I'm hoping so.
We see the batter.
So runners at the corner for Brendan Ward. Justin Brody will steal second uncontested.
That had to be the way. Our American League catcher, our friend Justin, had to do his best to keep Burrows on and couldn't keep Brody, or he knew that another run would be let up. And if that were to happen, it would be that much tougher for the American League to climb back into this ball game.
Brendan up there with a 1-0 count, and he takes a strike there.
Brendan Ward.
Oh, that's a 1-2 count now, rather not 1-1. I'm sorry.
Gonna play left field today. Coach of undefeated Coach Barbara Ward. There's a story for you. Playing 4 men, and Barbara Ward, the only woman in the whole Major League system to be a head coach, and she's undefeated. So there, boys.
2-2 the count now. And Ward takes strike 3. So Chin faces 9 batters, but fights his way out of it. But not before the National League strikes for 4 runs to open up a 4-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. After 1/2, the score is National League 4, American League coming up.
It's simple. One night, I don't drink. I drive them home. Another night, my friend doesn't drink. He drives us home.
Nobody had to worry about getting home. They knew they had me to drive them. I took care of them, you know?
Did I have a good time? Listen, that's the night I'm the best friend my friends could have. I'm bringing them home alive.
Hey, we can handle it better. Next time you go out, take your turn at passing up alcohol for the night.
And bring them home alive.
We're back here in the bottom of the first inning where Seth Burrows from the Braves is on the mound. His battery mate is Sean Guilfoyle of the Braves, catching today's ball game. At first base, you see Matty Quinn of the Dodgers. Second base is Elise Fenton. Over at shortstop is Joe Jackson of the Pirates. At third base is Jeff Wolf from the Mets. In left field is Brendan Ward of the Braves. Over in center field, today's ball game is Austin Diamond from the Dodgers. And in right field is Justin Brody from the Pirates. And leading things off for the American League will be their center fielder from the Tigers, Daniel Sinrod.
Dan, I'm going to do my best this year not to call any nicknames. Remember what happened last year?
We won't bring up any names here, but
I called one kid a name, and his father was absolutely furious.
So we'll just stick to normal names here. Seth Burrows is facing Daniel Sinrod.
Sinrod hoping to be the first of many American League batters to scathe Seth Burrows and the vaunted National League. Jeff Wolf, playing third base for the Mets in the National League, was the first person to draw blood for the National League, and that's nailed down to Wolf.
And he's going to be in there. And the American League bench is celebrating early.
Well, a nice play by Wolf to keep that ball in front of him. And Wolf gunned it down to first base where his counterpart,
Matthew Quinn,
fielded it nicely, but the speedy Sinrod was already there. That was a single for all you people scoring at home, and Joseph Nakunta calling his balls and strikes, called that one strike 3. He called a strike 3 on Joe Ward to end the inning last first inning.
Brendan Ward. Justin, I think, has possibly the best on-base percentage in the American League. I coach first base for the Orioles, and he likes to try to figure it out every time he gets down to first.
Speaking of bases, we've got Arlen Shostak.
And there's another hit down to Wolf at third. He throws Sinrod out at second base, throws on to Elise Fenton to get the force out.
Dan, we got to watch a really impressive performance by the Pirates and the Braves the last week we did the game, and what the key to the game was good defense, and here we just saw a nice play by Elise Fenton in the field to know exactly where she was going, and nice play all around. They might have been able to turn 2, but not this time.
Here's Derek Verda, the big lefty slugger of the Orioles. And that one is drilled to center field, but caught. Nice catch out there by Diamond in center field. But Derek Verda stroked that one.
Unfortunately for Derek, that ball, not the same rules in the home run derby. It just wouldn't have counted. But today, during the regular contest, it counts. And here we have the pitcher up. Eddie Chin.
Eddie Chin of the Indians, the third lefty out of their first 4 batters.
Edna Krantz Realty, those Indians, the Prudential Building in Boston, and those are his supporters. I should say the Indian supporters.
The Little Leaguers not allowed to make their own endorsement deals quite yet. That one's going to be out of here. That one's going to be gone. A home run for Eddie Chin. A 2-run dinger here in the first inning. And that's going to cut the National League lead in half early. There you see his American League teammates all running to home plate to congratulate him. Derek Verda hit a shot a moment ago that didn't quite make it. And Eddie Chin followed that with a blast out of this ballpark.
What a moment. He gave up a few too many runs in the first inning, and there he takes them all back, or takes a couple of them back with a towering blast, and we just heard his name chanted, Eddie, Eddie, as he nailed one right over the center field bleachers off Seth Burrows, who now has to regain his composure as he pitches to the Orioles batter.
Stephen George, the shortstop. Things aren't getting any easier for Seth Burrows, because Stephen George is one of the finest hitters in either league. Stephen is also the sprint champion for the 6th grade and under Brookline school meet.
Is that
but he was defeated yesterday by Orioles assistant coach Dan Kelly.
Is that the same Dan Kelly that is the all-star broadcaster for Brookline Access Television?
So I've heard. So I've heard.
It's funny that what's his name there?
Steven.
That Steven should win that. In 6th grade, in my relay race, I came in second in my heat.
There's Steven with a shot to left. Brendan Ward makes a nice stop to hold it to a single. Nice play by Brendan Ward, but Steven got a nice single out there to left field, and I told you he could hit, Kyle.
And he did, and he sped down to first base. If that ball had got by the center fielder, or I should say Ward in left field, then he was in for 2 easily. He rounded first, and they were back at home plate to see
Hudson Doyle, the right fielder for the Tigers, now up. Takes one high and tight, and Stephen George will easily get to second. Even with Sean Guilfoy's rocket arm, Stephen George is always a threat on the base paths. He is possibly the fastest runner in either league.
Yeah, he looks pretty fast. And Hudson Doyle, after being knocked down and actually brushed back by Burrows, but we won't call any foul play. We see Hudson take 2 quick strikes and.
Burrows was hit in the first inning. Then after letting up the home run to Chin and the single to George, he's coming back with some inside stuff.
Yeah, it looks like he's pitching right in. He's not afraid to graze the uniform. Right down the middle. He cut the plate in half.
And that's what a good pitcher does. He throws some inside to set you up for the good ones outside.
Yeah, you saw sort of Hudson Doyle like back up before that pitch.
Backing away from a pitch that wasn't that close to him.
Absolutely.
But now the count is full. Burrows on the mound. Stephen George at second base. Doyle with the payoff pitch. Ooh, and the low strike is called for strike 3.
That's 2 strikeouts called by Joseph Nakunta, the umpire, to end the inning.
But not before Eddie Chin hits a 2-run blast to get this American League squad back in the game. The score after 1 complete inning is now National League 4, American League 2.
Sometimes you know you're the one everybody's counting on to do the job. Whether you're a player or a fan. The one who can step in and turn things around so everybody wins. We lose too many lives when fans drive after drinking too much. So before you go to the game, choose the one guy you can count on to drive home, the designated driver. When you think about it, that's your most valuable player.
We're back here in the top of the second inning, where once again Matthew Quinn will be leading things off.
Things looking much the same for the broadcast of the National League batting order, and I can't tell if there are any changes out there in the
future. Few changes in the National League. They have a little different look in the infield. As there, Quinn takes a big swing and a miss. The count is now 0-2. Karen Lally has entered the game at first base. A few other changes we'll be bringing to you as they happen. Then Matthew fouls one off there to hang alive. Matt reached on the ball dropped by Daniel Singerod in the first inning and went on to score. While I have a moment, I'd like to say hi to Matthew's mom, Karen. One of the final women involved in Brookline Youth Baseball. Matt hits a high chopper to third base. It is handled over there by Ethan Schechter of the Red Sox. Ethan just in the game with a nice play.
So how old do you think Elise is these days? Anyway, here she is up at the plate. A 7th grader.
Elise popped up to Eddie Chin in the first inning. Looking to get a little revenge here in the second.
She's got a champion stance, and she's likely to be a star today as she swings and nails me.
That one's right over our heads.
And school committee chair Isabella Hines, right next to our booth.
The count is 1-2. Eddie Chin's 1-2 pitch is taken high and outside, and the count is now 2-2.
As Fenton takes the offering from Ing, it's low and inside, and she backs away. She wants the count, and Joseph Nakunta says it's
full.
Apparently. I was like, oh no.
Hits a chopper to shortstop. Gets underneath Josh Wiggett.
Single.
At shortstop. And Elise is in there with the base hit.
Impossible play for the shortstop. Josh Swag.
Swag. That's gonna bring up Diamond, who made a great catch on the Verta blast in the first inning.
So Fenton, the sole National League base runner right now, standing atop first base. As we see
Takes the pitch outside there.
Ace.
And the pitch is, and the count is now 1-1.
Merrill Diamond in his first
year. The ball just went flying in bed. Nope. Now the umpire noticed it.
Merrill Diamond, Ace's father, in his first year coaching the Dodgers, 10-7 to round out these.
There's a chopper just past a great diving try by Max Freever at second base. And oh, the throw by Hudson Doyle got by the third baseman.
So Fenton gets her base.
Fenton automatically scores, and Ace Diamond is allowed to take third base.
And Big Sean back up at bat.
Now the American League coaches, the American League coaches are starting to question why Elise was able to score.
Okay, Steve Eddy and Joseph Nakunja, the two umpires. Steve Eddy has the call. He's got jurisdiction. He called that the ball got by the third baseman and his backstop by the time both players, that's Fenton and Diamond, had been halfway between it. Arlen Shostak, Pops, Bud Dublin, Kevin Ing, who else is that? Rico Rodriguez, all questioning it as Joe Campagna stands not saying much at third base. Barbara Ward telling Arlen it's fine and it's right, and Joseph Nakunja, Steve Eddy made the right call. Merrill Diamond knows it's right. We all know it's right. Come on, coaches, let the kids play ball.
Did you really think Barbara was going to say, no, Arlen, send Elise back to third base?
Barbara Ward, in all due respect, or with all due respect, would, if they made the wrong call, tell them. She would speak up, just as Joe Campagna, the most fiery competitor in the world, would have done if it was really, obvious.
Sean Guilfoy, the batter. He walked in the first inning and went on to score. I know we'd like to get a few cuts up there this time.
Yeah, Guilfoy certainly isn't planning on walking.
The regular season home run champ up to this point. And, oh, Guilfoy got under that one. And Eddie Chin handles it. And I know the American League is happy to see him pop up. And what were you just about to say there, Kyle?
Entering the ballpark now, probably the most fearsome hitter to grace these National League parks since the days of Danny Kelly and Sean Fay. Kevin Mahoney from the old Pirates. Back last year when they were the champions. And the year before that, the year before that. Here to cheer on his mates. He was a great one, and he's in the Pony Leagues, an all-star.
There's Jeff Wolf with his second hit of the ball game. Sinrod cuts it off in center field, but not before Wolf is able to drive in another run.
He's 2 for 2 now, huh?
He's 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs.
Wow.
And he's having quite a nice ball game for himself here in the early going. There are 2 down. 2 runs have come in this inning already.
Let's see, Wolf is expected to come out at the end of the third inning and come back in again in the 7th as Seth Burrows, or the 8th, as Seth Burrows comes back to the plate. Seth?
I hope this weather will hold off, though, Cal. The forecast was for rain. It'd be a shame to see any.
Dan, the last thing we want is rain.
Seth Burrows hit by a pitch in the first inning. Looking to battle back here with his team leading 6-2.
So Seth Burrows.
Go ahead, Cal.
Seth Burrows, who's been getting some benefits of Joseph Nakunta's calls, takes strike called, but pitcher on pitcher here, and power hitter on power hitter for all that's worth.
Eddie Chin's offering, and it's smashed to second base. Max Freever with another good diving attempt. Nice cutoff by Hudson Doyle, who quickly got in the infield. That was a nice hit by Seth Burrows and a super play by Hudson Doyle to hold him to a single there and to hold Jeff Wolf from going any further than second base.
Max Freeberg has made 4 or 5 plays where he's dived, where he's dived.
Where he's
Anyway, he can't seem to get his hands on it. He keeps punching the ground.
He's coming awful close. He's a great hustler, great infielder. There's another single up the middle. Daniel Sinrod fires it in quickly to prevent any scoring.
The two Tiger outfielders for the
that was Joe Jackson of the Pirates, just to give him his due credit before you go on there, Kyle.
Absolutely. A fine shortstop standing in with his yellow stirrups at first base as Arlen Shostak makes his second appearance of the game out to talk to Eddie Chinma. I was saying that the outfield for the American League consists of two Tigers. That's Hudson Sinrod at. Thank you.
Hudson
Sinrod
Doyle.
And
Hudson Doyle.
Daniel Sinrod, right?
And Danny Sinrod.
Right. They're both doing fine job. Is what I was going to say. They haven't let one ball get by him. And
Matt Cronin from the Indians also in left, and the batter is Justin Brody with bases loaded here in the second inning.
They've actually saved runs.
Brody singled in his first time up, so he's proven he can do it with the bat. I also know Justin's an excellent pitcher.
Yeah, we got to see him pitch against the Braves, and we'll get to see him pitch a little bit today.
There's a shot out to left field, and that's off the fence. Matt Cronin will handle it. Fire the ball into the shortstop. Justin Brody stands on second. Joe Jackson's at third, and two runners have come in.
He blasts Burrows and Wolf home, who did fine jobs rounding the base paths and actually getting on base. And now he's got Jackson from first to third, and Justin Brody standing in there like a professional at second base. And here we have Brendan Ward back up at the plate.
Two down here, struck out in his first time up. And there, Jackson had showed some hesitation. And you should never hesitate with Justin Freeberg behind the plate, because he is so quick behind that plate. If you have any second thought of trying to score, you're in trouble.
I think that this is Chin's last inning.
Actually, I was informed that Justin, who has caught the first two, will get a chance to pitch next inning.
Good for him. That should be fun to see. Has he been the Orioles star pitcher over this last comeback?
Justin has been doing most of the catching, actually.
Who's been your pitcher?
The Derek Verda, who we'll also get to see tonight, has been doing a lot of the pitching, as well as Daniel Rosenbaum, who's not here, Jacob Crows. A lot of fine pitchers on the Orioles.
Not everybody can be an all-star.
And the play at the plate, he's out of there. But Justin Freeberg certainly is, and he shows you why there. Nice cover on the play by Eddie Chin, and a great play by Justin to throw him out and get the sliding Joe Jackson by a hair. So the National League connects for 4 more. And at the end of 1.5 innings, the score is NL 8, AL 2.
When it comes to teamwork, fans and players have something in common. If somebody on your team is having an off night, it's time for you to take charge. We lose too many lives because some fans are not team players. They'll let a friend drive after drinking. You can help cut those road losses. If somebody in your crowd has too much to drink, tell him to pass the keys.
You drive, pal, okay?
Good move, buddy. It's the biggest assist he can make.
Right, thanks for coming over, guys.
Oh, Justin Brody on the mound for the National League here in the second inning to face Max Freewood, second base from the Orioles, who chops one to Matt Quinn. The play at first, and great hustle by Max Freewood. Matthew Quinn made a nice play at first, and he was looking for Elise Fenton to be covering. Elise couldn't quite get over there in time, and Max, who you mentioned earlier, Kyle, has been hitting the dirt a lot today, hits it again there with a beautiful slide to get in safely.
Absolutely, finally got a chance to show what he's been doing.
And that's, sorry to cut you off there, Kyle, but this is Ethan Schechter up there.
Ethan goes to change his bats after he swings heartily at strike one. We got to see the first baseman,
Matt Quinn,
make a beautiful play, scooping up
Max's
ground ball, and Elise, uncharacteristic play. The second baseman run over and catch it. It's usually the pitcher who runs over and fields a ball like that, but Brody was nowhere to be found, and Fenton made a nice play. Unfortunately, Max is way too speedy, and he's standing there at first base, yucking it up along with Matt Quinn.
So Ethan Scheck, the third baseman. And that's going to be to Jackson. Jackson throws it on to Fenton there. And they're going to get their first out of the inning.
That's all he could do. He made a beautiful play. He made a beautiful play at the plate, at the first base to get in there, a sliding play, and
this is
forced out at second. It was a nice play anyway.
That was Josh Zweig who took the first pitch, popped it up to Matthew Quinn in foul territory.
Geez, already, Dan, it seems like the American League's getting a little frustrated. I don't think they should despair quite yet. It's a long game, and they're playing a beautiful game.
Well, I think everybody sort of wants to be that hero, if you know what I mean, Kyle, and get up there and blast a home run the All-Star game. And I think if it doesn't come true in their first at bat, they get a little frustrated. But
that's right. As a matter of fact,
this is 9 innings, and I'm sure each player will get at least two, if not 3 or 4 at bats here. So
I've been waiting my fair share to be the hero. But at the plate,
there's Daniel Sinrod. Oh, and a fantastic play by Jeff Wolf at third base. And Jeff Wolf has been the story thus far.
Proving why he's an all-star. 3 RBIs and three beautiful plays in the infield today at third base. Saving grace of his team right now as we end the second inning.
So Max Freever leads things off with a single, but the American League is unable to score. They strand one, and at the end of 2 complete, the score remains National League 8, AL 2.
Who's that?
The driver.
So
he doesn't drink tonight.
Justin Freiberg of the Orioles, the new pitcher for the American League, to face Brendan Ward. Brendan, who started in at bat last inning, but had it abruptly ended when Joe Jackson was thrown out stealing home for the 3rd out of the inning.
A beautiful play by the battery of the American League. Freiberg and Ing. Freiberg scooped it underhand to Chin, who sliced the tag nicely on Jackson, the runner, sliding into home.
Justin doesn't do a lot of pitching for the Orioles, as I told you, but he has done some, and he does come to each game telling me that he has a new pitch. So I caught for him a little bit yesterday, and a few of them actually do work kind of nicely. So
Dan, it's quickly getting dark and overcast here. As Brendan Ward gets out of the way of that one, he had to lift his inside leg so that he didn't get hit and take the obligatory trot down to first.
The count is full to Ward, who fouls that one off the umpire, but
not only
hanging there.
Not only did that graze the top of the catcher's helmet, but umpire Joseph McCunta got beamed in the bottom of the face mask as well.
Brendan Ward, in my opinion, is one of the most improved players I've seen from last year to this year. And watching, and there he draws to walk. His patience has improved, and he's become a better defensive outfielder. And I think just all around, just Brendan and a lot of the other good role players that the Braves have is what's made them so clutch this year. Matthew Quinn hits a shot to second base. Karen Lally catches it, but he was about 6 feet away from first. Matthew Quinn hit a shot down to Max Freevert, who made a good play, threw to first baseman Karen Lally, but Karen Lally was about 6 feet away from first base. So he was safe, and that brings up Elise Fenton for the 3rd time in the ball game.
There she is, folks. And she'll be trying to get Matt Quinn and Brendan Ward around the bases. She's done it before. Why can't she do it again as she takes a ball inside?
Elise,
one ball and 1 strike.
1 for 2 in the game, has scored. And that's a looper. just over the head of Max Freevert. Will Larson from the Orioles there to make the play.
A lot of Orioles in this team, don't you think? How many players on
there
each?
There are five Orioles did make the team, but many more could have. Among them, my man Max Davis, who is up in the stands tonight.
Hey! Go to first. Is it going to make this loud noise if I throw a hat at him?
Yeah.
Good.
There's Ace Diamond hitting one down to Lally. Lally hesitates, then throws home, and they get the out. With Lally's gun, I guess he could afford to hesitate a little bit there, but
Lally tried to sort of hold a couple runners up, figure out what was going on, and he got Brendan Ward out at home, and Elise Fenton moves down to second, sort of an infield choice single for the batter, and here we see
Diamond reaches on the fielder's choice, and the bases are loaded for Sean Guilfoyle, who pokes one out to right. Larson takes it in, throws it home. Quinn is going to be in there.
A sacrifice for Guilfoyle.
Justin makes the tag.
She was safe. Elise Fenton was safe. That's all I know.
There are 3 outs this inning, and nobody realizes. There are 3 outs, and no one but me realizes, and now the American League does. I didn't know what they were doing.
We got to talk about that
playing.
We got to talk about that play for 1 sec. Elise Fenton, Ty usually goes to the runner. They called her, Joseph Nakunta, the umpire, called a good game until now. He called her out, but a very confusing base running play. Sean Guilfoyle got the sacrifice run batted in, and
no, Sean Guilfoyle didn't drive in anybody because Sean Guilfoyle flew out. Then on the throw home, Will Lyons threw out the runner.
Will Lyons doesn't play in this league. That's the end of the inning.
Larson. And
that's the end of the inning.
National League
we'll be back for the top of the 4th after this.
Look, I'm fine. Look, I'm fine. Look, I'm fine.
Back here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Justin Brody, the Pirates, still on the mound, facing Justin Freeberg, the current pitcher of the American League. Here you see Justin. Count is 3-0. I have a feeling Justin will be taking this one. To give you a little idea of what happened to end that last inning, Matthew Quinn scored, and then Elise Fenton, trying to score to follow her up, to follow Matthew up, was thrown out at home plate. So the National League ended up getting 1 run out of it, and the score is currently 9-2.
Actually,
and now up is Karen Lally, and Karen has proved, as he did with a shot in the home run contest, that if he does get hold of one, he can put it far away. Counts 2-1 to Lally.
Dan, we're quickly losing temperature here, and the clouds are forming over the sky here at Elliott Field. As Kieran Lally, the big first baseman, steps in and tries to get the pitcher over.
I'd just like to make note that I said Justin might have the best on-base percentage in the American League, and he has reached base in bold trips in the All-Star game here, so he holds true to form. Looking at Karen Lally up and looking at Sean Guilfoyle behind the plate there, do you think anybody that casually walked by the field could guess this was a game with 12-year-olds in it?
No, not really.
And Brody walks his 2nd batter in a row as Lally reaches on the walk, and that's going to bring up Will Larson of the Orioles. Will has been killing the ball as of late, and he's been a big key to the Orioles' success. And he hits one to Elise Fenton that gets through. 1 run is going to come in. There's going to be a play at 3rd. Lally slides in safely, and Larson is able to get to 2nd base. The throw beat Lally to 3rd base, but his aggressive slide in there
Knocked the ball right out of Jeff Wolf's glove.
Exactly.
I guess Jeff Wolf can't do it all. He's already had 3 RBIs and a few defensive standout plays, and I guess it just didn't go his way right there. It could have gone either way, but Lally really just kicked the ball right out of his glove and sliding, and if he'd gotten up in time, he may have been able to start home, but not the case.
The batter right now.
Is that Hudson?
It's Madigan, actually, from the Tigers, the coach's son. He's done a fine job this season.
Big cut.
Josh Madigan.
And Brody, as I was beginning to say at the beginning of the inning, done a nice job settling down this National League defense, filling in for Burrows, who pitched a nice job. Now it's 9-3.
Madigan tips that one. And as I was saying, Will Larson's been a big help to the Orioles' success as of late. And a key to that is he's just been trying to make contact lately. He's no longer swinging for the clouds, and that was evidenced the way he hit it on the ground and it got through the infield there, as he got it by Elise Fenton. Yeah. And he's now on second base.
Absolutely. That's what the American League needs to do right now. They need to chip at this lead bit by bit as Madigan looks at strike 3. Swinging?
Swings for strike 3, and that's going to bring up Hudson Doyle, who, although I know he was disappointed about not putting any out in the home run contest, I think he'd more than make up for it to himself by stroking one out here, and I think he had that in mind with that swing.
Yeah, he was well under that pitch, though. A high heat from Justin Brody, and Hudson Doyle needs to do just what his counterpart on second base did. He needs to smash the ball sort of right through the infield. He doesn't need to hit for a home run, but they need to sort of peck away at this substantial lead by the National League.
Score is now 9-3, and Justin Freeberg of the Orioles has scored 2 of the American League's 3 runs so far. So the Orioles being well represented here so far. There's a big swing by Doyle.
What was that,
and
3 pitches?
And he goes down swinging, but it was a good aggressive at bat by Hudson Doyle up there, so he has nothing to be ashamed of. It's better than going up there and backing away from the ball. And that's going to bring up Max Freevert, who has been Mr. Hustle up to this point in the game.
Absolutely. Second base?
Second baseman. Correct.
Second baseman. Been diving for every ball and done a fine job. And he's made a nice diving attempt at first base also on the offensive front. And now he's looking to get the runners in scoring position. Lally and
Larson. Chases some high heat there. Count is 1-2 to Freevert. There are 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. And he takes that one outside.
So
if Max should reach here, Ethan Schechter of the Red Sox is on deck. Oh, he takes that one low and outside, and there's strike 3. So Brody has his problems at the top half of the inning, but comes back to strike out the side with the last 3 batters. The AL manages to get 1 run back, and after 3 complete, the score is NL 9 and AL 3.
Do you think the Boston Celtics could have won 14 world championships if we discriminated in choosing players? On the court or anywhere else, discrimination is illegal. Unfortunately, it still exists. If you think that you've been fouled by discrimination, call the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination. Remember, the MCAD fights for your civil rights. Join the fight.
Know me as the baby doctor. While we often measure children's abilities by their age, adults should not be judged the same way. Job qualifications should be based on abilities, not age. Unfortunately, some employers make age the deciding factor. That's not only unfair, it's illegal. If you're between the ages of 40 and 70 and feel that you've been discriminated against, call MCAD. They fight for your civil rights.
And there we see the crowd, all the parents and fans who have been here all year watching, all coming down to this. They've got the playoffs left, and they're packing it up till next season. As we go around Elliott Field, we just saw the bleachers, and now we see the people who have the more expensive grass seats and moving. Okay, moving all the way around to the hill, and there you see more fans and coaches and players standing there discussing this all-star game as we pass the batter's cage, and now we see the National League bench and on-deck batters. And now the National League fans sitting over there. We see some people, one man of note, Selectman Mike Merrill, the chairman of the board, and
standing next to the coach's husband, Joe Ward.
Absolutely. Joe Ward, I'm sure, a key to Barbara Ward's success, undefeated season. As we keep mentioning, it's something worth mentioning.
Daniel Sinrod, the new pitcher for the AL here in the 4th inning. And
he's done a fine job in center field.
He's going to face Brooke Lloyd to lead things off from the Pirates.
Brooke Lloyd done a nice job this year playing the outfield for Joe Campagna. Joe Campagna is shuffling in those orders, coaching third base, and Merrill Diamond in his stance at first base. He's been there all game, and he's doing a fine job. He's doing a great job.
Hit down. Oh, it gets not
much excitement in that play, but it took a bounce over.
Kind of a strange play there. It was a ground ball that just wasn't able to be handled by John Kelly, the second baseman there. Will Larson with some good backup there, and that's going to bring up one of the NL's big sluggers, Sean Mahoney Pierce. Sean is an intimidating force up there. Now I have to give a lot of credit to third baseman Ethan Schechter for not moving back to the outfield grass when this guy gets up. And he hits one high, but Will Larson's under it, and he makes his second catch in as many innings.
This game has been very well outfielded. Will Larson made a nice play to get the ball into home plate to end the inning in the National League threat back in the third, and now the National League's, the American League defense seems to have settled down greatly. They haven't let up many runs over the last couple of innings, and now they're sort of pecking away at this line, at this lead, 9-3.
Daniel Sinrod now pitching to the batter from the Dodgers, Alex Hirsch Williams, and he strokes one into left field. It's handled out there by Ollie Anderson.
Dan, I don't remember
who gets it in quickly.
I don't remember having the opportunity to do any Dodgers games this year, but something I do know is that Hirsch Williams has been one of Merrill Diamond's aces this year in the field and at the plate, and that's why we see him here today.
That's Ollie Anderson of the Tigers in left field. I believe I called him Ollie. Don't want to mispronounce any of the players' names here. The batter currently Glenn Lemashek of the Pirates, who hits a shot to center field, but a fabulous play out there in center by Hudson, who has been shifted from right to center this inning. Hudson Doyle with another catch, and as you were saying, Kyle, American League outfield has looked tough.
Is that Friedberg?
This is Adam Friedberg of the Mets up. Adam is a big boy up there, also an excellent basketball player, I understand, from his brother.
Friedberg been Stan Payne's mainstay at first base most of the season, getting a little chance to play in the All-Star team this year. I think he's a 12-year-old and won't be back next year, so hopefully this will be the last hurrah for Adam Friedberg.
Daniel Sinrod of the Tigers. He's ready to deliver. And Friedberg with a big swing and a miss there.
Friedberg definitely needs to keep his head in there and watch what he's swinging at. That pitch just seems to have bounced on the plate, and Friedberg surely can pack some power in his bat if he can, when he gets the bat on it.
There he chops one down to Karen Lally. Karen will touch first all by himself. And the American League has just held the National League to their first scoreless inning of the ball game. So in the 4th inning, the National League has failed to score. And the score remains 9-3 with the American League coming up.
Can you believe this thing?
I knew we shouldn't let him drive.
Yeah, you said ride with us. You've been drinking.
Said he was okay.
I owe you guys. I mean it. If you hadn't stopped me, I'd been with him.
Come on.
Nobody has to drink and drive, and nobody should. Friends keep friends alive.
We're back here in the 4th inning where some excitement has just been stirred up as Ethan Schechter has bunted against Sean Guilfoyle.
Wake up, American League. There you have it. Ethan Schechter raising eyebrows and showing the National League that the American League's back in it. And here he stands on first base, the first batter. And we might not be as far gone with this ball game as we think. It's 9-3, and whittling away is the American League.
Ari Irving's the batter from the Tigers. Guilfoyle does throw hard up there, there's no doubt. They call that a strike. Irving's trying to check his swing.
Irving has a big smile on his face after that pitch. He knows that that ball is high and inside just like I do, but he takes his lumps and he'll be back in there to try and get Ethan Schechter around the bases. Schechter dancing around, trying to test out the catcher for all he's worth.
Hans Sherman from the Dodgers is the catcher now in the ball game from the NL. Ari fouls off that one. The American League seems sort of in awe of Sean Guilfoyle. It seems like if anyone just makes contact against them, they sort of all just sort of like give each other high fives.
They start cheering. Seth Burroughs is the best pitcher in the Major League. And Guilfoyle may throw a little faster, but he certainly has nothing on Burroughs. But right there, he paid to the inside corner, and Irving a little frustrated.
Ari Irving's called out on strikes, and there you get a look at the big man on the hill, Sean Guilfoyle. Daniel Sinrod. Daniel just looks like a baseball player up there, wouldn't you say, Kyle?
It's a baseball player's name.
There's just something about him.
There is. He's done a fine job in the outfield today and pitching. Well, he held the National League to their scoreless inning, didn't he? The only one.
He did. And
maybe help his own cause.
Daniel will be back on the mound again next inning. So the AL fans have something to look forward to. Daniel kind of looks like Joey Cugini, who I used to play the league with.
No, he doesn't. Does he? Wait a sec.
Yeah, he does. He's a lefty, so all you can see is his back right now. But
shout his name.
Guilfoyle ready to deliver with 2 strikes. And he gets him on the outside corner.
2 Ks for Guilfoyle, taking over. I was wrong. He's a powerful pitcher. Looks like John Kelly from the Red Sox missed his call.
I thought they were asking me to pinch hit for a second there, Kyle.
I thought they were telling you to sit down, Dan.
I heard everyone yelling Kelly, and I got a little excited, but I guess they wanted somebody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. John Kelly from the Indians.
John Kelly is a fine all-around ball player.
Karen Lally runs from his catch to be on deck. Should have seen him scurry over.
And Ethan Schechter steals second base on Sherman.
He's been waiting. Every time he does a dance down there at first base, he gets a step further. He just finally walked his way down.
I got to give a little of that credit to Coach Buddy Devlin of the Red Sox. There you can see him, the man with the orange sweatshirt. He certainly likes to experiment with his base runners.
I don't know if you can hear it over here, but we've got Arlen Shostak screaming the signals in from third
Kelly
base.
takes one inside there, and now Schechter's down to third base.
Schechter's done a good job of getting around the... Oh, Dan, I felt the first drop of rain.
I just felt the little drop myself there, Kyle, and we're only in the fourth inning.
And they're using metal bats. This first sign of thunder, and the umpires, Steve Eddy and Joseph McCunta, are going to have to think twice about whether or not they're going to let it go on.
Kelly hits one at shortstop. Ashley's throw is a little wide of the mark, and John Kelly scoots into second base. I got to give him an infield single there, and then on the errant throw, he got on to second base. But Kelly definitely, I think, would have beaten out the throw regardless and driven in the run. A fine piece of hitting there by John Kelly.
That was a beautiful smack down to Carlton Ashley, who did his best to field the ball and threw a gun over to Mahoney Pierce at first base, the Mets first baseman here at the National League. But Carlton Ashley did his best, scooped it up, nice throw over, but couldn't do it. He got to second base, as we see
the big man up, Karen Lally, and Kelly will take third base. So now Kelly is on third base and Lally's up, and this is really going to be power against power. If we can see Guilfoyle throw a few heaters down the middle against Lally's big swing.
Dan, a sturdy drizzle's begun to form here at Elliott Park, and something we notice is that as Lally takes a big strike.
Big swing and a miss
big
there.
swing.
You're going to have to hold on a minute while I get the rain gear on, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Dan, but something I wanted to say was that the American League of base coaches here, Buddy Dublin and Arlen Shostak, seem to be having no qualms about sending their runners every step of the way. First it was Ethan Schechter who rounded the bases step by step, and now we've got Kelly at third base who's made his way very quickly, and Lally hoping to drive him home, who takes a strike, and he can't believe it. Not only is Joseph McCunta's strike zone outside and inside, but it's low also.
Lally up there waiting.
Wow.
Swings and missing. Guilfoyle strikes out the side, but not before John Kelly is able to drive in one run and bring the American League back. The American League now has 4 runs, but still trails 9-4. We'll be back with the 5th in a moment.
He loved to be out here in the open, climbing the hills, roaming the fields. The outdoors was his life. He loved the freedom of it all. But the freedom's gone. One mistake changed everything. He was a drinking driver. Drinking and driving can be the mistake of your life.
Coming up right now in the top of the 5th inning is Taryn Ashley. We see the all-star Brookline High School freshman. She's named to the Boston Globe All-Scholastic Tennis Team. She's an amazing, amazing athlete. What she does is plays first singles for Brookline High School's girls varsity tennis team. Undefeated this year. And back to live action, we see
Hans Sherman from the Dodgers, the catcher currently for the National League. Up there to face Daniel Sinrod, who sat them down without allowing a run in the 4th inning, looking to do much the same. He's been the only pitcher that's been able to hold the National League scoreless for a complete inning. The National League got 4 runs in each of the first 2 innings, followed by 1 in the 3rd and none in the 4th. So the American League might be settling down here, and Karen Lally settles under that one, and quickly there's one down here in the 5th.
Between innings, I got a chance to speak with umpire Steve Eddy and Joseph McCunta, and what they said was that it was going to take a tornado for them to call this game. They were being sarcastic, of course, but what they said was that as long as all of the all the batters got 1 at bat, they wouldn't have a problem calling this game if the rain got too heavy or if thunder were to strike.
I think that's a very good idea. Make sure each of the kids gets 1 at bat, just gets a flavor for the game. The score isn't the important thing it's here. It's just, playing with guys from other teams and just the whole feeling of playing in the All-Star game. Just supposed to be a fun game. So as you said, just at least if they get a little playing experience and gets 1 at bat, that would be the important thing. And I don't want to not mention that the batter currently is Cherry Kutry from the Braves.
If we're unlucky enough, Dan, this game will end in time for us to go catch a movie or something. Not together, necessarily, but...
There you go, Kat. Didn't want our viewers to get any wrong ideas. And then Guthrie hits one, and Kelly makes a nice play at second, pitches underhand to Lally. And Sean Kelly, I really like him as an all-around player.
Now Jerry Guthrie
It could just be something in the name.
A little upset because right now what we notice is that Guthrie, Barbara Ward says, is a human vacuum cleaner. He scoops everything up in his infield position when he plays normally for the Braves, and he just a beautiful play just then by Kelly at second base retired him to Lally.
Here's a kid that has a lot of power up there, and watch for him to be hitting them up the middle. I saw him hitting batting practice the other way. This Carlton Ashley of the Pirates. I saw him batting practice the other day, and although he does have the power to go deep every time, he was hitting straight line drives up the middle every pitch. So
And
he's just a very disciplined all-around fine hitter.
That's the beauty of hitting, being able to line drive the ball instead of getting under it and having to hit a high pop and wonder every time whether or not the outfield was going to miscue and make a catch or not. Dad, I'm beginning to go downhill. I took my moxicillin at 7 in the morning and I missed it.
There's Ashley, and look what he did. Hit a line drive smash straight up the middle. No one's covering third.
They've got him in a pickle, but he slides in before Kelly applies the tag.
Carlton Ashley smashed one to center field, but it was cut off beautifully by Derek Verda, who has not played an inning of outfield all season for the Orioles. Derek, with a fabulous play, could give us a new look for the playoffs.
Now, one of those kids who does that is Sean Guilfoy, who usually masters both parts of the battery, pitcher and catcher. And when Barbara Ward needs him, he goes and plays the outfield and does a fine job. He's actually saved a game this year by making a astonishing catch out in center field. We mentioned that in our last broadcast.
Here's Sean Guilfoy, and as beautiful as Daniel Sinrod's pitched, I'm going to predict a home run right here. Oh, another pop-up. He gets under it. Lally makes the catch, and they retire Guilfoy to end the fifth. So Daniel Sinrod came in and pitched 2 scoreless innings to end the momentum the National League had after the first 3. The National League still maintains a 9-4 lead, but the American League is looking to make it up here in the bottom of the 5th.
It's simple. One night, I don't drink. I drive them home. Another night, my friend doesn't drink. He drives us home.
Nobody had to worry about getting home. They knew they had me to drive them. I took care of them, you know?
Did I have a good time? Listen, that's the night I'm the best friend my friends could have. I'm bringing them home alive.
Hey, we can handle it better. Next time you go out, take your turn at passing up alcohol for the night.
And bring him home alive.
Back here in the bottom of the 5th inning, Sean Mahoney Pierce, the pitcher, Will Larson, the batter. Will swinging at the high one there. Will's been having some trouble with all season. Will's a very aggressive hitter and one of the fastest players in the league. He can fly once he makes contact with the ball, which is why he's so valuable in the outfield.
Yeah, he's done a fine job this afternoon. And Mahoney Pierce, pitching on the mound, looks just like his brother. Pitching out there, I actually almost called him Mike. You see his parents and brothers sitting on the sidelines up in the field and here at Elliott Park. And I just want to bear with me for a sec, Dan, try and get some of these names down. We've got Bread and Circus as one of the Brookline Youth Baseball team sponsors for the 1993 spring, and the Brookline Youth Baseball would like to thank their supporters.
There's Larson goes down swinging strike 3, but as I said, he went down swinging, and when that happens, there's nothing to be ashamed of, and that's going to bring up Josh Madigan, the catcher from the Tigers.
Right, Madigan. Okay, so you've got the McCourt Co., Bay State Taxi, Brookline Savings Bank, Aero Sports, The Body Shop, the Davis Companies, Flynn and Clark, Hammond Rosenthal, Historic Homes, Leg Mason, Sharon Betzalel, Remax First Realty, Sharon Betzalel, Remax First Realty, Brookline Police, Schneider and Associates, Hunneman Company, Caldwell Banker, Edna Krantz Realty from the Prudential, Bobby Madigan, Remax First Realty, R. Brown Partners, Chobie Hoy, and Parent Corp.
And we'd like to thank all our sponsors. Is Josh Madigan up there? Count as 1 and 2 as he faces Mahoney Pierce.
And a tie has been called so that Madigan can speak to
Pop
the living legend, Pop Shostak. How many years can he keep it up, Danny? As he has his ancient umbrella in hand and he's ready to pop it up soon. If this rain starts up again, I can assure you that this crowd will dwindle. But everybody seems to be having fun. There's still talking
going on. There's strike 3, and Mahoney just fired that one. And this is what you got to question right now. Mahoney gets his second strikeout of the inning, which was a big strikeout, but then National League threw it around the horn, and we got to play 9 innings, boys. Everyone wants to get in the game, and we don't have lights. Here's Derek Verda, the hard-hitting lefty. Big D. Derek traditionally likes to wear black socks to the games, and today I notice he has white socks with black stirrups, so maybe that's what jinxed him in the home run hitting contest.
Maybe. Derek just slices one foul down to the American League fans sitting here besides the broadcast booth as we hear them cheering right now, and the fans, Karen Lally and company, not the fans, the fan support, I should say, from the bench of the American League, all shouting D, 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 D. Sounds like my report card.
Sean Mahoney Pierce, if you get a good piece of one of his, you know it could travel a long way. He throws heat out there.
Ooh.
There, Verdo with a big uppercut.
Verdo would have liked to have gotten a piece of that one.
Derek Smombeth has also been a fabulous help with the Orioles' success this season. Down there at every game.
Dan, it seems like you've already mentioned her once today.
I don't think I did. No, that was Matt Quinn's mom.
Oh, all right. Let's get all...
I like to cover everybody.
I bet. Dan, I'm beginning to notice a trend here. There's like one fan who's been yelling and paying attention the whole game. She's sitting right next to us.
And do you know who that is?
No, I have no idea.
That's Beth Verda, the woman I was just referring to that has been a great help. So, there you go, Kyle. I told you
you said it first,
a great fan. I told you she was a great fan, then you noticed she was a great fan. And her son Derek takes the walk there.
Can I have my money now,
and after 2 strikeouts, the American League finally reaches base against Mahoney Pierce. And that brings up Ole Anderson.
I gotta love the chants that the American League bench comes up with. First D, D, D for Derek, and Ole for Ole
Anderson.
They're
an easily excited bunch of kids, and that's the important thing. They're all here having fun.
I wish they could come up with nicknames for us.
They do have nicknames for me, Cal, because I'm well liked.
You're well liked. So Ole looking to take the pitch from Mahoney Pierce. The base is clear except for a runner on first base. And obviously a little disappointment there after going so well that Ole gets a called strike by Joseph Nakunta.
Mahoney Pierce delivers again. Wow, he comes in with heat, and he gets Anderson and strikes out the side. So despite the Verda walk, Mahoney Pierce strikes out the side in the 5th. And the AL fails to get back anymore. At the end of 5, the score remains National League leading 9-4.
Sometimes you know you're the one everybody's counting on to do the job. Whether you're a player or a fan. The one who can step in and turn things around so everybody wins. We lose too many lives when fans drive after drinking too much. So before you go to the game, choose the one guy you can count on to drive home, the designated driver. When you think about it, that's your most valuable player.
We're back here in the 6th inning at Elliott Field. There's the story, a lot of umbrellas. Here's Dan Kelly alongside Kyle Payne here. The rain is starting to come down hard. I don't know how much longer they're going to allow this one to go before calling it. I can't imagine too much longer.
Harder than I'd like to have it be right now, as there's a conference at the near home plate with the two umpires as Karen Lally takes his beginning warm-ups to pitch here.
Karen Lally can fire the ball, by the way.
Just a noteworthy line of information.
Throw that in there. The scorebook is getting absolutely drenched, and I believe it's Tiger coach Tom Madigan's, and I apologize to him because he's a great guy.
Hey guys.
Should this game get called, I understand that there's a potential that this will be continued tomorrow, which could make for a long day for some of the kids, because I know some teams also have make-up regular season games tomorrow. So it will be difficult.
This is the kind of rain you would hope wouldn't carry over until tomorrow when you see Brookline High School graduation. Just noteworthy, the pitcher is Karen Lally, his sister Hannah, right behind us as we broadcast. Hannah Lally, a junior at the high school.
Brooke Lloyd of the Pirates, the hitter. Kyle has left me. I'm not sure where he's headed, but possibly for an umbrella. I'll sit here wet by myself. Actually, Dan Sinrod can come over here and talk to me if he wants. Dan, you just pitched 2 scoreless innings. How do you feel out there, buddy? They had 9 runs in the first 3 innings. Then you came in and shut them down for innings 4 and 5. How are you feeling out there?
Well, I'm more relaxed in the All-Star game because there's not as much pressure, and I think that's what did it.
I'd just like to make note that Brooke Lloyd had just struck out versus Lally in the first at bat. Now, Dan, I noticed you guys did have a big lead in the American League to start the season, but the Orioles have caught up with you guys awfully quickly. You guys nervous about them at all?
No, not at all.
A lot of confidence. After Lally struck out Brooke Lloyd to start the inning, the count has run to 3-1 against Sean Mahoney Pierce of the Mets. And there's strike 2. So now Mahoney Pierce, the big slugger.
Yeah, we saw Mahoney Pierce earlier getting a...
Mahoney Pierce struck Lally out, I believe. Or maybe I'm a liar, but... Oh, that's a pop-up over our heads.
That's enough fright for you. That was high enough to make it exciting.
No, last inning, Sean Mahoney Pierce did strike out Karen Lally.
Did, I was with you the whole way,
and now here's the revenge. And he walks him.
Oh,
so
well.
Karen, as I said, does throw hard, but
a little too hard.
You just saw the problem there is he tends to lose control occasionally. And it can be a problem. And the batter now for the National League is Alex Hirsch Williams, I believe.
Left fielder.
Left fielder of the Dodgers. Looking to face the big man. Special K throwing some heat.
Dan, I can't remember much about last year's All-Star game. As a matter of fact, I can't remember who won. The only thing I do know is that it was beautiful.
It was a tie. It was a tie game last year.
Was it a tie game?
And I believe Joe Simeone. Didn't Joe Simeone hit a home run to tie it in the last inning?
Yep, that's what he did.
Oh, and Joe's sister Sarah wanted me to say hi to her. So hi to Sarah Simeone.
Hello,
and
Sarah.
I beat you to it.
I always do it. I figured I wouldn't this time. I mentioned the Simeones in every Brookline Access broadcast. I got Dr. Joe earlier, but today Sarah just slipped my mind. We've got Hirsch Williams up at the plate.
Takes another one high.
Mahoney Pierce cheering him on from first base. He's hoping to make his path around the bases and get home, but it looks like he's...
Matt Cronin fires one down to first base, but they don't have him down there.
Cronin was the first game
And Hirsch Williams has struck out, so Lally has struck out 2 and walked 1 here, and that's going to bring up Glenn Lemesak of the Pirates, who hit a shot to center field in his last at-bat, but was robbed, and it's another shot here, but Lally catches the line drive at the mound. So Glenn Lemesak has powered the ball twice and has nothing to show for it. Tough breaks.
Lally has been amazing in the field today. Just amazing at first base and pitching very well. And just now, he Got a ball fired back to him at the box.
Karen Lally has sat them down here in the 6th, and the National League is unable to add to their 9-4 lead.
When it comes to teamwork, fans and players have something in common. If somebody on your team is having an off night, it's time for you to take charge. We lose too many lives because some fans are not team players. They'll let a friend drive after drinking. You can help cut those road losses. If somebody in your crowd has too much to drink, tell him to pass the keys.
You drive, pal, okay?
Good move, buddy. It's the biggest assist he can make.
Right, thanks for coming over, guys.
The National League with a 9-4 lead and a big cut by
Matthew Cronin of the Indians.
Matt Cronin, a good catcher. The first Brookline Access broadcast I did this year was the Indians versus the Red Sox, and Cronin was amazing behind the plate. So count is even now, 1-1, and Cronin looking to help his team whittle away here in the top of the 6th inning of this 9-inning game at the 9-4 lead that the defending National League team has at the moment. A little bit of a new look for the National League. You've got Adam Friedberg at first base. We've got Sherman in at left field, Guthrie in at third base, Ashley catching, Brody at shortstop, Lloyd in right field as Cronin fouls it back. Mahoney Pierce is not the pitcher. It's Hans Sherman who's pitching, and Hirsch Williams playing second base. Lebeshev playing center field, and Friedberg, as I said, playing first base. So Cronin
seems like
2 and 2.
A lot of changes here. So we're just basically gonna play them how we see them from here on in, and I don't think we can be faulted for that.
No, absolutely not. But Cronin takes strike 3 called, and that's going to be the 5th or 6th strikeout called by Joseph McCunta today.
You love saying his name, don't you?
I love it, Joseph McCunta.
Has
Joseph
great flow.
Joseph has a
Great
goatee down to his
flow.
check, his chest. His check.
Yeah, down to his wallet.
Down to his.
The batter is Ari Irvings of the Tigers. Ari is an excellent pitcher and has contributed well to the Tigers' success.
So here we have
count is 3-0 to Ari Irvings. Wonder if you might just give him the green light here. But
ball 4, he didn't need it.
He walked all the way. Wasn't going to chase that.
Hans apparently having a little trouble in the first batter he's faced here. He struck one out and he walked one. The rally caps are on.
And that's going to bring up Stephen George.
Called strike, you wouldn't believe it, by the home plate umpire. And as I said, about half of the American League teams has their hats turned inside out and the gloves on the top of their head to top it off. The rally caps hoping to symbolize some sort of comeback here as they all stand. John Healy, the cameraman, has him right there.
And there George hits one down a shortstop. Brody plays it on a second and they get the out. A forced play at second base. Nice play by Justin Brody. Just in time to beat a hustling Ari Irvings down the line. The batter currently is John Kelly.
Ashley, what a gun.
Yeah, but Stephen George. just cannot say enough about his speed down
Sort of
the
like
second.
the irresistible force in George and the immovable object in Ashley with the gun down the second base, but Ashley with George was in standing. I think it would make Ashley's game today if he could get George, huh?
I think that would make a lot of players' seasons if they could say they threw Stephen George out trying to steal with his speed.
Just as an update, I don't know if you can even tell in your viewfinder that it stopped raining. I should say your screen at home. Is this John Kelly?
The pitch to Kelly. Kelly takes a strike there.
In case you couldn't hear it. Full count.
The payoff pitch from Hans.
It's over Ashley's
outside,
head.
Ashley fires one down to third. Stephen George is in there safe. And the American League has a runner on third base here. And
They've got
Stephen George is caught in a pickle now. They get back to third. Now the ball's by the third baseman. George will come home to score. Stephen George is in with the American League's
And
fifth
Kelly
run
tried
of
to
the
round the
game.
bases and all the excitement, and he was called out. Ashley applied the tag, sliding into home plate, and he's out. Joseph Nakunta called him out to end the inning.
I didn't even realize John Kelly had walked. And then next thing I know, he's being called out at home plate.
Nevertheless, the end of the inning after 1 run scored. 9-5, the National League.
Back with the 7th inning in a moment.
Who's that?
The driver. So he doesn't drink tonight.
Back here in the top of the 7th inning, where the batter is Adam Friedberg to lead things off. He takes a check swing there that could have been either a called or a swinging strike. I'm not sure which. He's up there facing Karen Lally, who was phenomenal in this first inning of work, and there Friedberg tries to lay one down.
Little half-hearted attempt at a bunt there. He's going to try and get on somehow, though.
Got to do anything you can when you're facing Karen when he's on like this.
He is on. He's played an amazing ball game today.
I'd have to say, if Karen Lally can contribute with his bat to an American League rally, he is our player of the game. Because pitching
down.
and in the field, he has not done a thing wrong. Actually, there was a ground ball where he caught it about 5 feet away from the base, but but he got Friedberg swinging there for the first out of the 7th inning, and that's just pure heat, folks.
Ted, I don't know if it's the excitement or what, but all of the fans who were sitting on the grass are now standing. I think it's because they have begun to realize that jeans get wet when it rains, and now they're all standing, the ones who weren't sitting down. And they've moved from out into the tree. Here we see Hans Sherman up at the plate to face the man, Kieran Lally.
National League struck for 4 in each of the first 2, then got one off Justin Freeberg in the 3rd inning. And since then, Daniel Sinrod shut them down for 2 innings, and now Karen Lally in for his 2nd inning of work here has shut them out to this point.
Lally liked to replace that, or sort of wipe out that at bat. He was behind on Hans 2-0, and Hans ripped a very nicely hit single. His bat was right out in front of it, and he smacked it to left field. And of course, we have to look at the batter.
Jerry Guthrie, I believe that is, up the plate. Jerry, who grounded out to second baseman John Kelly in his previous at bat on a shuttle throw to first base.
So far, this game's been perfectly umpired, except for one call that Joseph Nakunta made. Elise Fenton was safe at the plate. Hopefully that won't prove to be the difference in today's ball game.
I'm not even going to criticize him on that call. I think it's just the fact I'm sitting next to a big Elise Fenton fan. It's tough to give the umpire a break there.
As far as I'm concerned, everyone should be an Elise Fenton fan.
There's a ground ball. A nice diving stop by Eddie Chin holds him to a single. And although the runner will advance to third, Eddie Chin made a fabulous dive out there to hold that to a mere single.
As much as I'd like to see the National League shoot for some power here and quell this American League rally that we see forming, I wish it would sort of slow down so that we could end this as the drizzling starts up here. And Guthrie makes his way down to second base on a ball that got it by Matt Cronin, and Hans Sherman makes it down to third. So 2 runners in scoring position for the bad Carlton Ashley. Power versus power here with Ashley and Lally. A nice play by Cronin there to keep the ball right in front of him.
Guthrie's on second base. Sherman on third. The count is 3-0 to the batter. Carlton Ashley with first base open.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think I saw a former Cardinal of this Brookline Youth Baseball. The Cardinals are now defunct. His name is Michael Goldman. He's walking in with Scott Azadi, 2 Brookline High School juniors right now, and they'll be here momentarily. I'm sure we'll be able to get a glimpse at them a little bit later.
Ashley has walked, and the bases are now loaded, and that brings Arlen Shostak out to the mound.
Arlen really hasn't had to tell much to Kieran Lally, except for good job at Kieran.
There you see a nice shot of Hans Sherman from the Dodgers over there, checking out the other runners. There's Jerry Guthrie of the Braves over at second, and there's Carlton Ashley, the man who just collected the walk, over at first base.
So here's Brody up at the plate, right?
Yeah, that is Justin.
Looks like he's
Brody.
back in the game.
Justin Brody, who's replacing Sean Guilfoy in the batting order. Guilfoy apparently is out for the rest of the game, but if the American League should rally, I have a feeling we'll see Guilfoy in there as a pinch hitter or in there in some ways in the last inning.
A luxury for these crack coaching staffs to be able to pick and choose players as they see it fit. Should it get highly competitive later on in the broadcast, you'll be able to see the 2 clubs putting their best back in there. But again, in an all-star game, they're all the best.
Oh, a tough call down at first base. Catcher Matt Cronin made a heads-up throw down at Derek Vert at first base, who tagged out Ashley, and Ashley's laughing. I think Ashley thought he was out because he's laughing at first base.
Just as we compliment the umpiring, we see Steve Eddy make a call that seems to be too far away.
And that ball gets through Stephen George. The throw home will be handled by Cronin, but Brody knocks in the 10th National League run.
This game getting further and further out of the grasp for the American League. Although Kieran Lally doing his very darndest to keep it going.
And now the run of Pirate hitters continue as the 3rd Pirate in a row is up. This is Joe Jackson, their shortstop. And there's no play. Guthrie will hang at third base. Not going to risk anything there.
Here we see, what's this? Bill Goldman? Big Braves. Bill wasn't around for the 17-0 season, but he was here last year in the rebuilding era of Barbara Ward and company. Back to the game. We've seen 3 Pirates in a row. First Ashley, who's standing atop second base. Brody right on first, and at bat now, Joe Jackson. All-star shortstop. Why not just call him Shoeless?
Lally struck out Adam Friedberg to begin the inning, but since then we have seen 2 singles, a walk, followed by another single, and now he's behind the count again.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record, Dan, but after stopping for a moment, the rain has started up again, and this time at a little heavier volume than it was before, and now Ashley looking over at first base to make sure the runner's in check, and the pitch a little high, and he walks a run in. It's now 11-4.
11-5 is the score.
I said 11-5 is the score.
Long as you said it, buddy. And that's going to bring in the D-man, Derek Verda. Karen Lally getting a nice round of applause, and a very well-deserved round of applause from the fans.
Absolutely deserved. He walks over to first base where he played a beautiful first half of the game, and now we get warm-up pitches for your man, Dan.
Derek Verda, the hard-throwing Oriole lefty. He pitched in last night's ball game, in which the Orioles pitchers combined for a no-hitter. Derek pitched the last 3 innings. Daniel Rosenbaum pitched the first 3 against the Red Sox.
Now, Dan, am I correct in understanding there are Derek Verda pins? Is that there are, aren't there? There are pins of your son, right? Beautiful.
There are.
Mrs. Verda sitting in the getting drenched actually, like all of us. The rain is wet, and the fans. Oh, the faithful are leaving.
Keeping this game going much longer is going to be a definite tough call.
That's right. Enough pitches for this guy already. Derek Verda, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't need warm-ups.
Derek did pitch 3 innings last night, and
he's been perfect.
And he was throwing hard.
Although he's got a tough man to face, Sean Mahoney Pierce.
Sean chops one of Stephen George. Stephen throws to first base. Karen is standing in the middle of the infield, somewhere.
Well,
that's the second time we've seen that happen, and that's just a little mental lapse on the part of the American League.
Well,
not a bad play, but
Stephen George was very intimidated right there when he saw a runner going to third, a runner going to second, a runner going home, and he had to do something, and he tried to throw it to first, but Lally was actually in the right by suspecting that the play was going home. And speaking of home, here we see Dodgers batter up to face Derek Verda.
I believe that's
that Ace?
Alex Hirsch-Williams.
Oh, that's Alex?
It's a shot down to second base. It's not going to be able to be thrown out anywhere. That's Madigan down at second base now. The throw, Cronin throws third. He's dead at third. They nail Mahoney Pierce. And that's going to be the second out of the inning.
Mahoney Pierce did his best to stretch it out. Why not? They're up by a few now. And after 2 runs scored and out retired, and Sean Mahoney Pierce sliding into third base. And there's 1 runner on. After the bases have been loaded a couple rounds, there's 1 runner on base. And the rain now at its hardest. And the crowd getting rowdy. The fans beginning to get a little antsy, and the announcers beginning to lose their voices.
National League, right when the American League was starting to make it close, the National League came fighting back. They've scored 5 runs this inning. They now have a runner on second base with 2 down.
Here's
the batter
Burrows.
is Seth Burrows, who was the starting pitcher in today's ball game. Seth, a fierce competitor.
Yeah, very, very intense batter and pitcher, but he strikes out there. It's been the story all day.
Big D comes in and gets the job done as well as you could have asked for. He strikes out Burrows and gets the AL out of a jam. But not before the National League can add 5 runs to their already 5-run lead. The score currently is National League 14, American League 5.
Look, I'm fine. Look, I'm fine. Look, I'm fine.
That's Jerry Guthrie. Jerry Guthrie, the pitcher right now, is the National League has a 9-run lead, and we see Ethan Schechter standing atop the batter's circle.
Josh Wag in there of the Red Sox.
Was I wrong, Dan?
You were incorrect, but
Even though he's got 2 strikes on him, I guarantee you he gets a hit.
Rico Rodriguez guaranteeing us that his Red Sox batter, Josh Zweig, who's been playing a sturdy defense, will get a hit. Wrong! A nice cut.
I don't think Rico knew that Jerry Guthrie could throw the ball about 80 miles an hour.
A nice cut by Zweig, who's a little disappointed right now in Rico.
And he left Rico hanging there.
Yeah, Rico's eating his words, isn't he?
I think he put too much pressure on him. And now it's Eddie Chin, who hit a 2-run home run in the first inning. Had some problems on the mound, but, try to make up for it with his bat a little bit, and let's see what he can do here.
The bases are clear, so the best he can do is solo himself.
He's ahead in the count early, 2-0, and I think after he hit that blast, I think Guthrie might be a little scared to come back and fire one down the middle.
I think so, too. I don't think he's going to give him much to hit.
Yep,
so
there's 3-0. There's 3-0.
Guthrie. Normally you see Guthrie playing the infield for Barbara Ward's Braves, but today he's pitching, and he's struck out one batter and walks Eddie Chin, pitcher on pitcher. As the rain comes down even harder here at Elliott Field, we see people engulfed in raincoats and blankets and umbrellas. Everybody's wearing hats.
Josh Madigan back in the ball, not back in the ball game, but back up to the plate rather.
Carlton Ashley still behind the plate, trying to hold Eddie Chin on at first base.
Be nice if we could get to see Carlton pitch maybe a little today. Eddie Chin dancing in between first and second, and he's safe at second base. He was dancing, causing some indecision on the part of Ashley, and he was able to slide in there safely. Ashley still with a big smile on his face. And that's why you got to like Carlton as a player out there, that no matter what's happened up there, he just has a big grin. He even swung and missed in the home run competition earlier, and he was still smiling.
Ashley's not expected to pitch today. We got a lineup from Barbara Ward earlier, and he's just going to catch. He's actually going to come out in the last inning, and Jeff Wolf is going to be pitching. Wolf, who played third base and had some stellar performances up at the plate, going to pitch, and Ashley going to take a seat.
Well, the way this rain's coming down, this could actually be the last inning.
The ball gets by Ashley, just as we speak of him, and Chin makes his way down to second base.
Josh Madigan has just been retired. For the second out of the inning, Derek Verda, the hard swinging lefty up there, the right fielder back near the fence. And I think that you don't really even need a third baseman when he's up. I've never seen Derek not pull the ball.
We saw him earlier in the first inning keep pulling the ball foul down the first baseline, trying to knock some wind out of Kieran Lally, or Dave Friedberg, Adam Friedberg. And this time he strikes out, and that should be 3 outs. As
now everybody else is realizing it as he got Derek on the high heat. So after 7, the American League is unable to chip away any of the lead, and the score remains National League 14, American League 5.
Hey, listen up out there. I've been fighting bad guys all my life. And the worst are the people who won't give you a job or an apartment or financing because of your race, accent, sex, or even the way you look. Now, I've always been able to take care of myself. But when you need help, call the Mass Commission Against Discrimination. They're on your side. So when someone doing a number on you, you do a number on them.
Celtics could have won 14 world championships if we discriminated in choosing players. On the court or anywhere else, discrimination is illegal. Unfortunately, it still exists. If you think that you've been fouled by discrimination, call the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination. Remember, the MCAD fights for your civil rights. Join the fight.
Back in the 8th inning with Ace Diamond, the batter for the Dodgers.
Ace played a fine game today. Takes ball 1 high.
He's been a big part of the Dodgers' success in the National League, and I understand that he is one of, if not the finest defensive outfielder in the league, and this rain is really starting to pick up here. Might be bothering Verda's grip a little bit, but Derek's a tough kid. He can shake it off. And he hits one to center field, but Sinrod is under it and makes the catch. Sinrod just whipped it right back to the pitcher's mound. There you got a good look at Danny Sinrod. And there's Derek Verda.
It's a fine day for a baseball game.
I suppose if you don't like the sport.
That's right. If you're the devil. But here we are, and now we've got a new batter for the National League. Looks to me like Hans Sherman. We'll check on that.
Have we seen Brett Brim at all today? Did he leave after the home run contest?
Maybe he came for the first few minutes. I know he pitched.
I see him putting his helmet on. He's on deck.
Oh, okay, good.
So that's good. So we're gonna see him.
This is actually Ace Diamond.
No, I think you're wrong. This is Hans Sherman. You're right
I was right the first time. Imagine that. So
Ace Diamond just flew out center field. Hans hits a pop-up. 3 guys under it. Stephen George with the catch.
Backpedaling, he made it beautifully and saved the American League from further trouble.
Damage.
Oh, and here he is himself. Brett Brim.
It's almost like I asked for Brett to be up right now. It's almost like I called for his appearance.
Do we hear a little
and he
home run?
He was carrying 2 bats with him up to the plate, but he's only allowed 1. And so, since I predicted this at bat, even though D is my man on the mound, this ball could be traveling. I'm scared. I'm scared right now. We're going to see a lot of power here.
He's been waiting his turn. He was a little silent during the home run derby, helping his National League team out. But I
believe he put 1 or 2 over, though.
I think he put 1 out, and now I'm sure he'd like to break away from this 1-1 count and blast one the heck out of here. He's swinging it for the sky.
Derek Verda is coming with some serious heat, though.
If we get a shot of Stan Payne at third base in the rain in a moment.
I think the word misery comes to mind.
Yeah, this sort of epitomizes rain and baseball. It just doesn't mix, and he doesn't look like he's he's avoiding home much too long.
I wouldn't call this a gala event for Stan at this point, but back to the batter. Derek gets him on a high fastball, and that ends the inning. So Derek Verda holds the National League scoreless in the 8th, and at least is giving his team a fighting chance to come back. The American League trails 14-5, but they're coming up here in the bottom of the 8th.
You probably know me as the baby doctor. While we often measure children's abilities by their age, adults should not be judged the same way. Job qualifications should be based on abilities, not age. Unfortunately, some employers make age the deciding factor. That's not only unfair, it's illegal. If you're between the ages of 40 and 70 and feel that you've been discriminated against, call MCAD. They fight for your civil rights.
Back here in the bottom of the 8th inning, on the mound for the Mets, is Jeffrey Wolf, who has played a fine game up until this point. Daniel Sinrod, the batter up there from the Tigers. We spoke to Dan earlier. He seemed confident in the Tigers' ability to pull out the American League, so let's see if he can help his American League squad any. Derek Verda came in, pitched a fine inning in a portion.
So Derek, we have Derek right here. Derek, I want to ask you, who's the toughest batter the American League has had to face today?
Probably Sean Guilfoyle.
Sean Guilfoyle, how come?
Well, he's got a lot of power, especially you can pitch over the plate to him.
Not a pitcher's favorite batter to pitch to, huh? Well, Derek, you pitched a fine game and you played a good game in the outfield today. We'll back up on.
Here's Daniel Sinrod, who's also done both those things. Daniel shut out the AL for 2 innings and has made fine catch in the outfield. So, a lot of players getting to play a lot of positions. Like we said, just out to have fun.
Dan, I'm not sure what the story is going to be as far as Brookline Access Television covering Brookline Youth Baseball in the postseason, but it should be noted that after this, all the teams are scheduled to play a few more games, and after that, the postseason begins, and Barbara Ward's Braves, who are undefeated, look to dethrone Joe Campagna and the Pirates, who have been winning a winning legacy over the last 4 or 5 years.
They are the 5-time defending champions, and they have won 6 out of the last 7. They have not been Joe Campagna's all 6 of those 7 years, as Gene Kelly was the coach for the first 2 of those 6 championships. The only team to win a title in the meantime was Arlen Shostak's squad.
Now everybody's centering around the attention with umpire Joseph Nakunta and Barbara Ward. I guess there was a problem with game balls, etc. And Nakunta wanted to check things out. Maybe the balls are getting too wet. They're checking on counts. And Daniel Sinrod has a full count with Jeffrey Wolf atop the hill. And ball
Dan
4.
Sinrod grabs the walk. Here's one of the best leadoff hitters in either league. And you see why there. He does the little things, fouled off a lot of pitches, did his job, and got on base. And now that brings up the power men like Matty Cronin of the Indians.
Now we're getting a chance to see everyone sort of dripping wet.
I'd really have to say this game is helping my cold, just not at all.
I know. Maybe I won't be in school on Monday. I wouldn't like anything more to be out of school. Talk about spring fever, Dan, huh? I guess this is actually what we'll get if it keeps raining, a spring fever. And Ashley, looking for the ball, runs right into the umpire. Ashley, a fierce competitor all the way to the end. His team is up by over 10 runs, yet
they're only up by 9, Kyle. Let's not shortchange the American League's hopes of a comeback here.
See, where I come from, 9 runs is over 10. All right, fine. So Matt Cronin stepping in right now. Takes his base. 2 men on, and Wolf running into a little late game trouble. It won't matter much, but Coach Bud Dublin looking to bring his American League team back into a route. I think that 99% of the people here, probably Arlen Shostak excluded, would like to get out of here right now and really don't have too much at stake in this last inning.
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to have a wrap-up or a game MVPs. It's really just getting extremely, extremely wet at this point.
We have to thank whoever is in charge of the rain for letting it go on this long, so we didn't have to come back tomorrow for the last half inning. But they'll finish it up, Dan.
Well, I'd have to say most definitely we're going to have to at this point. We've played 8 innings. Might as well go 9.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind getting drenched.
Max Freevert, the batter from the Orioles, scrappy second baseman with a lot of hustle up there with the 1-2 count.
My mother told me to wear a sweater. She said, don't wear your leather jacket. I said, Mom, goodbye, I'm leaving. I left. She was right. She's always right. And here we are. We're drenched. Guys, this is unbelievable, but it's a great All-Star game. Look at the American League. They've kept their hearts and souls in there all the way through it. They've been out of the game for as much of the game as pretty much has been played, and they still maintain to be quite amazingly hardy. And the National League has been powerful.
Max Freevert, who was down 1-2, has battled his way back and drawn the walk. That's some fabulous hitting by Max Freevert there, and that's going to bring up Oriole teammate Stephen George, a fabulous, fabulous shortstop and a fabulous hitter. And I told you early in the game, Kyle, I said, look out for this kid. He has a great swing, great bat speed, and he came through with a rip to left field. Let's see what he can do here. Takes ball 1.
Dan, you've got to be living under a rock to not know how badly it's raining right now if you're watching this broadcast.
Whoa.
Oh!
There's Stephen George with another rip. That's going to go into left field. Seth Burrows whips it to third. Nice stop over there by Matthew Quinn. That's a nice play by Matt Quinn. Stephen George with the rip.
Should be. So Jeff Wolf finding himself more and more into the black hole of this rain-stricken all-star game in the final innings.
The score is now 14-6 as Daniel Sinrod crossed home plate there. Closing the gap to 8 and leaving the bases loaded for Justin Freiberg.
Nothing to say Justin can't pop a little bleeder through the infield. I don't think that the coaches or infield is expecting this much rain to have slowed down the, or to soften up the infield. But we're sure it has. He might be able to beat something out if he hits it on the ground, Dan.
Justin's a very fast runner and hits a lot like Carlos Quintana of the Red Sox. Likes to go opposite field a lot of the time. Very good singles hitter. Does the job that's asked of him. You can't really expect too much more out of a player than what Justin brings you. Good hustle and all around good attitude. There he fouls another one off the umpire. Kyle's temporarily left me, so I don't have his name off the top of my head like Kyle enjoys saying, but
so we've got the American League fan club behind us, some cute boys and girls who are sticking it through. Some of the only people, the benches have cleared and some of the fans have gone home or gone for shelter under the trees. And as I mentioned them, they all leave, but this is fun. This is what it's all about. I guess this is actually good. Strike 3.
Oh, Justin takes strike 3, but that looked a little low, and I think had it not been pouring, that would not have been called a strike 3.
Possibly. It's a little home field advantage, maybe. I don't know what you want to call it.
The ump wanted to go home and get a change of clothing. We can't blame him, but on the same hand, we can't blame Justin for taking that pitch.
So up at the plate now, a Red Sox batter.
This Ethan Zweig.
Josh Zweig.
Josh Zweig. Ethan Schechter.
Ethan Schechter.
And Josh Zweig. But this one's Josh Zweig.
So Zweig, apparently the quickest at bat we've seen today, throwing this bat right over at us, and he's being disciplined by Coach Buddy Dublin. You see him there in your orange sweatshirt. And here's Eddie Chin back. He's blasted one out of here today. The game's only home run.
Bases are loaded and they're down by 8. If Eddie Chin connects here, it could at least cut the deficit in half. At least give them something to hope for.
We brought
His
it up.
first home run cut the deficit in half because it was 4-0, and that made it 4-2. So let's see if down 14-8 here, he can make the score 14-12.
We brought it up earlier. The National League last year rallied.
I'm a liar, by the way. The score is 14-6. I just wanted to tell everyone that I lie. But
the rally last year happened in the late innings for the National League, and it was Joe Simeone who ended up having a grand slam to tie it, and it ended up a tie game. And Eddie's swinging for the stadium, the outside of the stadium here, and he's so far been unsuccessful. He's not connected on 2 pitches. But it would be something.
It only takes one, Kyle, as they say.
If he could take
it only
some
takes one
Jeff
pitch
Wolf
to hit a home
sacrifice.
run. And a scary thought. I don't know if you can see it on your screens, but in the background on National League bench, Sean Guilfoyle has a helmet on. I don't know if that's just to keep his head dry, but maybe Barbara Ward has decided to insert him as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning just to give him one more at bat. And Eddie Chin has drawn a walk. A run comes in, and the score is 14-7. So they've cut it in half. It's now within reach, and the batter's Will Larson, who as of late has been making some great contact. And if he can put the ball in play here, it could be trouble.
there's nothing out of kilter here about Jeff Wolf's performance. Wolf's given up a couple runs, but hey, haven't we all? We've got to give kudos to that National League coaching staff for keeping Wolf in there, showing them that even though the bases are loaded and there aren't many outs right now, that it's all fun and games. And what they're doing is they're not trying to win. They're trying to have fun, let everybody have their at-bats and their time in the field. And I think that's great.
And it's a lot easier to have patience with your pitcher when you do have that 8-run lead as well, though, Kyle. Will Larson with a nice swing there.
That was a major league swing. He was right under that ball, and if he connected, that was scooping right over the fence, Dan.
If he swings down on the ball, though, he always makes contact. That one might hug the line. Called foul.
Foul ball call, and what we see there is 3 National League outfielders, or 2 National League outfielders in
the first baseman.
And the first baseman,
well.
Brett Brim. They're back. The fan club. They're behind us, and they're more wet than they were before. Hans Sherman, the second baseman who made the play earlier. Done a very nice job today. Just thought I'd mention Hans's name.
But Jeff Wolf struck out Will Larson to get the National League out of further damage.
Dan, I bet you they call it.
And after 8 complete innings, the score is now 14-8. They're contemplating calling the game. I know it's not what Arlen Shostak would like.
No, he's against it. They're talking to Barbara Ward. They're going to call it.
Because what Arlen did was he made a schedule that would make it so each player got a certain amount of playing time. Both teams had a schedule similar to that set up. So for the players that were going to play the 9 inning, I think that the coaches just didn't want those players to field shortchange. But in any case, the game has been called after 8 innings here. The National League has prevailed 14-6. There you see them shaking hands after the game.
Smiles on their faces. Everybody's happy.
And there you see winning pitcher Seth Burrows just went through the line. There you get a good look at him.
Justin Brody, a fine performance today. We've got to mention that there was a winner in today's ball game by score, but there was no loser. Dan, everybody played a fine game, and there were some performances that outshined others, and most of them happened to be in the National League today. That's the way it goes.
But the American Leaguers are leaving with smiles, and I think that's what's most important, is that they're all leaving happy. And if they can leave happy, then, hey, I'm happy for them, Kyle.
That's true. I feel like this is more exciting, I think, than a championship being won. It's the All-Star game when everybody's happy. And I think part of the reason they called this game right now is because they've still got to do the award ceremony in the center field.
That's true.
Can you believe this thing? I knew we shouldn't have let him drive.
Yeah, you said ride with us. You've been drinking.
Said he was okay.
I owe you guys. I mean it. If you hadn't stopped me, I'd been with him.
Come on.
Nobody has to drink and drive, and nobody should. Friends keep friends alive.
He loved to be out here in the open, climbing the hills, roaming the fields. The outdoors was his life. He loved the freedom of it all. But the freedom's gone. One mistake changed everything. He was a drinking driver. Drinking and driving can be the mistake of your life.
Hi, and welcome back once again to Elliott Field, where the final score is National League 14, American League 6. We're here with Sean Guilfoyle, the home run champion in the pregame ceremonies. Sean, even though you didn't put any out during the game, must have felt great to hit those 4 during the home run derby.
Yeah, it felt great, but I don't think I did as well as I thought I would do.
But, was it fun just being out here with the rest of the guys? Did you have a good time at the game itself, even though you didn't perform your usual self and put 3 into the upper deck?
Yeah, I felt fine today. It wasn't my best game, but I think I can do better.
Any predictions heading into the playoffs, buddy? I know you guys are still undefeated.
All the way.
Good luck, buddy.
We're back here with Eddie Chin, all-star pitcher, the losing team all-star player of the game. Eddie, I'd like to ask you a few questions. First of all, You hit a home run to get yourself out of a big jam to sort of cut the lead in half, the big gap that was scored by the National League. How did that feel in the All-Star game?
Felt really great. I mean, all I really tried to do was just to make contact.
Okay, and this was an All-Star game. Did you play in the All-Star game last year?
No.
So did this live up to all your All-Star game fantasies?
Yeah, I felt really great. I mean, I hit a home run and I pitched pretty good.
Yeah, you did a fine job. What do you think's going to happen as we head into the postseason?
I think our team's gonna do pretty good. Just after practice, we'll get good.
Well, there you heard it. Eddie Chin, the All-Star pitcher for the Indians of the American League.
Once again here at Rainey Elliott Field, the final score was National League prevailing 14-6 at the All-Star game. For our co-MVPs, Sean Guilfoy and Eddie Chin, our producer Arlen Shostak, and cameraman John Haley, this is Dan Kelly and Kyle Payne signing off on Brookline Access Television.